So, Evil Dead Rises.
Join us. Join us.
Hello and welcome to another review here at Movie Mash. And today we're going to talk about the new family-orientated movie called Evil Dead Rises. No, let's start that again. Evil Dead Rises is the new R-rated 18+ horror film starring Alicia Sutherland and Lily Sullivan, directed by Lee Cronin. Now, I'm not familiar with this director, but he's done other films like The Hole in the Ground, Ghost Train, Minute Past Midnight. Now, they sound, after watching this, I might just go and check these out, but I just don't know who he is or what he's done apart from this. So, quick synopsis. Single mum trapped in a building while she gets possessed by the Necronomicon Book of the Dead. And their children and the sister have a fight for their life to try and stay alive and get out of the building. I don't want to give too much because there isn't a big plot to this movie, so I want to keep it as vague as I can. I want to keep whatever little surprises there is without overly telling you how, when, what and all that. But that's the synopsis. Now, for those who don't know, I did a ranking of the movies, the 1 to 4, there only a couple of weeks ago, so check that out. But where would I fit this now since the ranking is done to fit into the rest? Well, to tell you the truth, I would probably put this on par with the remake. Now, all films, there is no bad movie in this franchise. This is one of the most solid franchises you can get. There is no bad movies. I'm just saying is that I would put it on par with the remake, which was absolutely one of the best remakes, horror remakes you could get. But the thing is that I haven't quite decided if I like it more than the remake or not, because there's elements, right? First of all, I will say that the remake, the 2013 remake, was way more terrifying to me than this was. It was way scarier, and some of the kills and some of the macabre stuff that happens on the remake made me turn my face. Now, not to say that this didn't happen on this. There was plenty of macabre, gory scenes. It's just I found that one more terrifying, but I had more fun with this in a sense. I found this more fun and likable in certain ways. So I haven't quite made up my mind which one I like. But regardless of that, I thought this movie was really, really fun. Now, I don't want to give too much, as I said, so I'm only going to give you my thoughts on the film. Like, I'm not going to give plot points and all this. I'm just going to say what I thought of this and that and the next thing. But I will say that the opening part of this movie set the tone for this movie. It kind of gave you the gore and what kind of kills and what level of we're going to be with this. Like, all the practical effects that you see on this, it starts with the beginning. So let's just jump into the positives. The tone, the setting, and everything about this film felt like a Raimi film, but it wasn't a copy of the rest. As you know, there is similarities, and obviously it's a possession type demonic kind of thing going on. But it isn't quite the same, but it has lots of elements that's going on and that feels like it's still part of the film. Now, despite it being part of the franchise, and you know it is, it actually could probably be a standalone movie on its own as well, which is really good because, like, it feels like if there was no previous films, you could actually just watch this as a normal horror and enjoy it for what it was. Now, Alicia Sutherland, who played the mum, I have to say that she was really, really good on this, right? Like, so it felt like she was having a lot of fun whilst doing it. She gave a great performance. She was creepy as hell. Yeah, sure, the makeup and all that helped. But I will say that you could put makeup anyone, and it might not be. She looked like she was having fun, and she was the standout star of this movie. Now, her sister, played by Lily Sullivan, good name by the way, I actually think that she made a really good final girl. Like, I actually wouldn't mind if she's on the next one. I mean, look, we don't know where the next one is and what's happening. I've heard there's going to be another 2 or 3. But as I said, for me, I felt like she was a decent final girl. And I actually enjoyed her character throughout the film. Now, the setting of the apartment block, it felt very dingy. It felt like they were a poor type family. To me, I'm not sure if that's what everyone else thinks. To me, it felt like they were poor. They weren't rich. They lived in this apartment block that looked kind of dingy anyway before the lights went out. Now there was an event that happens in it that the reason why they're trapped. I'm not going to go into it because, as I said, there isn't a big plot. So whatever little bits and pieces there is, I want to save for you if you haven't seen it, and if you have, you know what I'm talking about anyway. But I will say that I heard that people are going, oh no, it's too dingy and all that, but I was like, no, it felt different. It felt good. It felt like it was just, if you brought us back into the cabin, look, let's face it, right? So you got Evil Dead 1, 2 and 4 of the remake. So we got 3 films. 3 of them are virtually the same movie. Obviously Army of Darkness is different. What I'm just saying is, look, we've brought it into a tower block. Well, a tower block is just a big building full of apartments, but yeah, I would say that that was really a big highlight for me, that kept it away from the forest and the cabin. But when I see the start of the opening, and I'm not going to give too much away, I will say that I wanted to see that film too, what they were showing, and you'll know what I'm talking about, the start, the opening. I wanted to see that film as well. Yeah, that's how much I enjoyed all of it. But regardless of that, the opening, the setting, everything, that was all good. Now, because of the situation of the location and where they're trapped and all that, there's a lot of jump scares. Now, for people who hate jump scares like me, I don't mind them as long as they're relevant and it works with the story, not just for the sake of loud noises and making you jump, because it's just like, what's the point, you know? What I was just saying is, there is a few jump scares on this, and I felt like they were really good and they worked. And I'm not going to give it away, but there was a few jump scares that actually had me jumping up. And it's weird that I actually knew one was going to happen because I think it was on the trailer, and it still had me jumping. They were relevant to the film and to what was going on in the narrative. So yeah, great jump scares. Not a hell of a lot, just a few, but they really worked. Now, the practical effects, as I mentioned on the month, there was quite a lot of practical effects on this, and I think we're coming into a situation or generation where people are getting tired with a lot of CGI. Now, a lot of people don't know CGI is actually quite expensive, and sometimes you have to do it because some things are just not easy to do. But I feel like sometimes that everything just goes CGI, where I feel like with practical you can see it. You can nearly touch it, you know it's real. CGI, when it's done well, it's good, but you had to add some. And there was some CGI on this, but the practical effects and the way they went with the makeup and the prosthetics was just brilliant. Now, as I said, one thing about kids on movies, they really do my head in. I mean, look, it's not easy to get kids to act, but I find that they're just annoying. I mean, apart from Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone, it's very rare that I like any kids on any young teens or even younger than that. But I have to say, I actually quite liked all the kids on this, especially the little girl. She was a lot of fun. I felt like they didn't annoy me, they didn't irritate me. They felt like genuine kids, and I liked that. As I said, being annoyed always takes me out of the film, and they were really good. But I have something to say about all the kids and all that in a minute. Now, the frights and the kills on this were pretty decent. Some quite inventive. I mean, just when you think there was so many you couldn't get any more gorier, they found a new way to make it a bit more freakier. If you know what I'm talking about. And if you do, you know. If you haven't, you'll see. Now, gore doesn't always mean scary, but when it's a scary movie and you got the gore, it works well hand in hand together. And again, it was just, if you're a big horror fan, you love this kind of gore, you're in for a treat. Alright, on to negatives. Now, I have a few issues with the family dynamic and the character development. So, as I said, like, the characters, they give us a little bit of a backstory here in pieces here and there, which is fine. But it felt like there was more to be said about that. And I felt like if I got what they were trying to talk about and give us more of that, I would have felt more invested with them. But I didn't. Now, I was invested plenty. I think, as I said, I liked them all. I just felt like you could have pushed it where you were giving us little nitpicks of something, this and that, and the next thing, and give us a bit more of that. Second of all, I felt like they needed to show more emotion when a family member was hurt or killed. Now, they were upset, and they did, but I'm just saying, as like something dramatic and bad as this is what's happening. There was a few times when I felt like, and they could have probably been more upset about what's just happened, or more shocked than that. And I don't think it's the acting. I just think it's that they have a story to tell and they're trying to get on with it. They didn't feel those parts were important. Now, I felt like it was important to me because I wanted to invest more into those characters and feel like what they're going through. But again, it's not a nitpick. It's a little bit. I wish they had done that, but look, they didn't. I don't really have any more negatives about that because I went in hoping for a gory horror movie with a lot of fun and exactly what I got. And I was not disappointed at all with this movie. I mean, look, again, the franchise of the Evil Dead have not got one bad movie yet. Not yet. I mean, we have another two to go, I'm hearing, so we'll see. I just think this is a really good, fun movie. So, my final thoughts, if you're a horror fan and you're looking to get your teeth into something real good and gory, this is definitely for you. If you're an Evil Dead fan, I'm sure you will enjoy it because there is a lot of nods to the Evil Dead franchise on this, and only people from Evil Dead will probably see what I'm talking about. Again, I'm not going to give them away, but you'll know what I'm talking about. This film was exactly what I thought it would be and what I hoped it would be. I wasn't disappointed. I really enjoyed it, and I'm going to give it 2 thumbs up. So, what did you think? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Do you think it don't fit into the franchise? It's no good, it's terrible, or did you think it was the best one of them all? Let us know in the comments below. Like and subscribe as normal. But for now, and until next time.
Join us and subscribe.
I literally can't see nothing out of that eye.